a pretty long stretch.
Brandon Chung to tip it off against Shaden Molina, and the Falcons control it. It's Kainoa Lee. Chung. Back out to Shibuya. This is Landon, Michael Kouchi. 3-point attempt by Shibuya. Yamada with the rebound.
May take Kalani a little bit of time to get used to the shot clock. They were patient there on their offensive set. They won't have that shot clock in OIA play, but they do today, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to.
Good point. The Iolani Classic is using a 30-second shot clock for both the boys and girls tournament. That 3-pointer off the mark for Chung. Traveling call on the Falcons. Just a minute in. Thanks for joining us on BallerTV for the Iolani Classic. The first of 32 games brought to you on BallerTV. This is Bumang Lug. Pass out to Morita. Bailey Bumang Lug. Morita's jump shot. The back of the iron.
Kalani mixing up their defenses. Came out initially in a zone at the half court, and then came out in a 1-2-2 full court press. Trying to cause some disruption, maybe work a little bit of that clock for the Raiders, make them shorten the clock by the time they get it over half.
Kanahele called for the traveling on that side, and here are the Raiders missing a layup on this side. That was Morita. Still 0-0. Minute 40 into this game.
3 good opportunities for the Raiders. They had an open 3, they had a drive, and a short jumper by Morita. Haven't found the way to connect it yet.
Jump shot by Chung is off. This is Wes Yamada. Umanglog. If you watched some of the Iolani games last year, Noah is his older brother. Just graduated. Kalani. Here's another chance for the Falcons to begin the scoring here in game 1. Pressured by Bumanglug. We got a blocking foul on Yamada. Trying to cut off Micah Kouchi.
Raiders in their classic man-to-man defense, picking up all the way out to half court, even a little over half, putting pressure and getting up in the passing lanes.
Shibuya. Nice pass down low. Falcons can't finish. Second opportunity. That one's off. Chung had 2 good opportunities down there in the lane. Foul called on Kouchi.
You can see already Kalani going into their big man Brandon Chung, but being matched up by all-state defensive lineman Shaden Molina.
Bumanglug flings it out to Yamada. He'll drive the lane, give it to Molina. He can't finish at the rim. Here come the Falcons, still 0-0. Chung. Bounce pass. Bounces out of bounds. Ball over to the Raiders. Andrew Dawson into the game, replacing Shaden Molina. You mentioned Shaden's all-state defensive lineman, but Shaden Molina probably could play a bunch of different positions on the football field and has, especially in intermediate, even wide receiver and quarterback.
Yeah, you can really see his versatility and his ability to move and be active out here on the basketball court, and I think that translates really well to football.
Bounce pass knocked away. Another turnover for the Raiders. Kouchi with it. Works off a pick. Gives it to Chung. Kouchi playing a two-man game here. He'll stop and take a shot. That'll bounce around and off to Dawson. Raiders in transition. Morita will drive. That won't fall. There's something over the top of the rims, Coach?
I don't know what to say. Maybe it's maybe it's the basketballs. We have special edition Nike basketballs.
They were
made for the Classic. Both of these teams used to playing with Baden balls, which is the state basketball, so could be a little bit of a difference.
I saw the the director of officiating check the pressure on each of those balls to 8 pounds. Was approved by Iolani coach Ryan Hirata. Kick out to Tanaka off his hands and out of bounds.
I guess we call this a defensive battle.
Yeah, we're through 1/8 plus of the game. 3:27 to go, first quarter. Thanks for joining us on BallerTV. 4 big games today, 4 more first round games tomorrow. Beginning at 3:30 Hawaii time. This is Dawson. He'll stop and push back on a jump shot. Three minutes to go in the first quarter. Still looking for the first points. Maybe here. Maybe I jinxed Cortez. Yuji Naka, three-pointer. That's Carter Kamana. Picks it out to Wes Yamada. So with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, somebody's on the board, and it's Iolani. The Raiders lead at 3-0.
Wes Yamada, one of the few veterans that saw significant minutes last year on this Iolani Raider roster.
Blocking a foul, Kalani Falcons will have it out of bounds. Let's see now if the Falcons will score now that the lid has been lifted on this game, so to speak. Kanahele back into the game for Chung. For the Simpatico. Carter Kamana, ball knocked away from him. And ball trickles out of bounds. Fujinaka, Dawson, Kamana, Humanglug, and Yamada for the Raiders. This is Yamada. Drives down the lane. Nice shot. Wesley Yamada, he's got 4. Only 4 points in the game. 5, excuse me.
Yamada showing his experience there, taking a nice kick-out pass from Andrew Dawson, giving the pump fake, shooting the floater.
Pick and roll for the Falcons, and that'll do it. They're on the board to Dylan Cortez.
Well played, well executed, taking advantage of Iolani hedging that screen with their screen man stepping out, finding the roll.
Yuji Naka. That won't fall for Devin. Falcons, nice drive down the middle. Second opportunity. Hits a shoe. It'll go over to the Raiders. Nick Chung into the game, replacing Bailey Bumanglug. Some pressure in the backcourt from the Falcons. Dawson at the basket. Kai Noah Lee, being watched closely by Yamada. This is Tanaka. Lee spins. And at the end of the first quarter, Raiders 5, Falcons 2. Coming up next after these 3 quarters of basketball, Xinhua from Beijing, China, then versus Wasatch from Mount Pleasant, Utah. Then it'll be Mililani from here on the island of Oahu, taking on Mount Vernon from Mount Vernon, New York. And in the nightcap, Kamehameha Kapalama Warriors from here in Honolulu versus the Long Island Lutheran team, ranked number 11th in the USA Today. They're from Brookville, New York.
Should be exciting to see Kamehameha among the best teams here in Hawaii.
Yeah, 2 of the better players in the state on that squad.
And Long Island Lutheran, one of the top teams in the country. So this is what all the local boys here, all the people in Hawaii love to see. They get to see the best of Hawaii go against the best in the nation, and you get to see where you measure up.
I saw that Long Island Twitter account preview the game. Tip-off time, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What time is that in Hawaii?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
5-hour difference so far at the moment. Sometimes it's 6.
Hawaii standard weather.
A little windy outside. But yeah, definitely not winterish. There's a kick. So on a kick with 15 on the shot clock, we should see it go to 20. And we do.
So to explain just a bit, there is a shot clock here at the Iolani Classic. There is not a shot clock in the Hawaii State Athletic Association. So we're following standard high school rules, but with a 30-second shot clock.
Yuji Naka. Swoosh. 3-pointer.
Yuji Naka was a 3-year player. This is his 3rd year as a junior. Came up to the varsity as a freshman and is one of the better shooters on this team.
Kouchi will try to match his 3. And he will be given the chance to do that at the line as he was fouled beyond the arc.
Never a foul that you want to give to a jump shooter or someone shooting a step back, especially with Kalani struggling to score. Devin was playing great defense, just got a little over-aggressive and knocked him down.
Off the mark on the foul shot. Kouchi will have 2 more. Trims the lead to 5. Players forgot that there will be a 3rd foul shot. One of 3 for Micah. Raiders with it. Passing the perimeter. 15 on the shot clock. Knocked away. Yuji Naka pull up. That's off. second chance opportunity for Shaden Molina, and he converts.
Good to see Shaden get some points off an offensive rebound.
Chung.
Raiders extended that press after the made bucket, but Kalani pushed it up the sideline and made 2 great passes for an easy finish on the inside for Chung.
Bounce pass, errant. This is Lee. Lay it up and in. Timeout called by Iolani coach Ryan Hirata.
Live ball turnovers. So there's dead ball turnovers where the ball ends up out of bounds. You have the opportunity to get back and set up your defense, but there's live ball turnovers. It's near the equivalent of a pick 6. You don't get the opportunity to get back. It's much more difficult to cover guys in transition. You're not in the right spots, and a lot of times those live ball turnovers can lead to easier baskets than if you were able to set up your half-court defense. So you could see it through this first quarter, and about 2 minutes into the second quarter, Kalani was really struggling. So I'm sure Coach Hirata is talking a little bit about not giving them easy opportunities, whether it be in transition, off of the press, or off of a live ball turnover.
We can go over tomorrow's games. Today we have 4 first-round games in the 16-team tournament. 4 more first-round games tomorrow. Kaiser from Honolulu against Garfield from Seattle. Moana Lua from here in Honolulu against Archbishop Wood in Warminster, Pennsylvania. Mid-Pacific, right up the road here from Iolani. They will take on Oak Hill Academy from Mount of Wilson, Virginia. And Damien in the nightcap will take on Jefferson from Portland. Longtime followers of the Iolani Classic have seen the Oak Hill Warriors several times. One of the top programs in the country. Yamada penetrates, finds inside, nice pass. And Zachary 10.
Yeah, nice job by Zach 10 sealing on the inside, and Wes Yamada threading the needle for that easy assist and nice lefty finish.
Personal foul on the Falcons, number 21, walking up on the Miller, second team foul.
Zach 10, just a sophomore, was one of the starting pitchers for the Iolani baseball team as a freshman last year.
The Mudlug to 10. He's met near the rim. And here come the Falcons. Chung banks it in.
The best offensive possession there for the Kalani Falcons. They attacked a few times, got the Iolani Raider defense overextended, and found Chung, their best inside finisher, for an easy finish.
Molina bowls his way into the lane, throws it away. And the Falcons will go to the line with Kouchi to shoot 2.
Number 3, Michael Kouchi at the line, shooting 2.
Kouchi was recently at the line, made 1 of 3.
Checking back to the Falcons, number 12, James Luciano. For the Raiders, number 11, Tyler Mauricio, 12, Brandon Thompson, 21, Carter Commandant, and 23, Andrew Dawson.
Still early in the game, early in the season for both of these teams. So I'm sure these coaches are still working on combinations, trying to figure out what works, who works, and in what situation each player thrives. So this is a good opportunity for a lot of different guys on both of these teams.
Tyler Morita, Ren Tanaka into the game for Iolani. Rebound by Tanaka. Raiders lead at 12-10. Game went scoreless for over 4 minutes of the first quarter. Coming on inside, interior pass to Dawson. That takes the tour of the rim, won't go. Falcons has it knocked away only momentarily. That's a blocked shot by Kamana on Kanahele. Here's Dawson at the other end, quickly. He'll go to the line and shoot two.
Raiders switching into a 2-3 zone in the half court. They extended it a little bit to half, but dropped back into the standard 2-3. And Kalani attacked it well and found someone on the inside, but Carter Kamana, another football standout. Perhaps the best athlete on this Iolani roster, was able to recover, get the block, and that's what he brings. He brings the dynamic athleticism to this Iolani team. You saw it even on the last possession. They had a turnover, and he recovered all the way back, got his hands up, forced a miss on what could have been an easy finish.
Carter had a very memorable football play this past football season, a 99-yard touchdown reception. Quick shot for the Falcons. Simpatico. There's Tanaka. He got tripped up.
First foul on the Falcons, number 12, Jaden Simpliciano, fourth team foul.
Kalani now with 4 team fouls. The Raiders with 5. Just under 3 minutes to go here in the second quarter. This Kamana pulls his way inside, has it knocked away, but into the hands of Dawson. Andrew can't finish down low. Falcons down 3. This is Chung. Nice interior pass there to Cortez. That's his second bucket of the game. 1 point game, folks. Fujinaka, 3-pointer. Devin Fujinaka, his second of the game.
Devin is the shooter scorer on the floor with this unit, so good to see him looking for his opportunities and finding a quick one and knocking it down.
Tanaka tied up Cortez, jump ball. On the alternating possession, it'll go to Kalani. Coach Noah Hussey calls a 30-second timeout. It's his team down 4. Coach Dean, local teams in this tournament, how do they approach it? I mean, this is a game between 2 local teams, but most local teams go up against a mainland opponent and then some other local teams traditionally after the first round. But how do teams approach this tournament?
It really depends on what type of team you have. Sometimes you're a team that maybe is just looking to improve, looking to have great experiences. You're not thinking that you can go out and win this opening game against a mainland opponent. But sometimes you have a really good squad and you want to see where you measure up and you want to see what the best is. And you can come out there and you say, hey, we're going to try and win this game. I mean, that doesn't happen too often here at the Iolani Classic, but it has happened.
But it's always a good experience and a huge challenge. And
Oh, great memories for every one of these guys, especially when they go up against the mainland opponents. They remember who they played against, what they did, even if it was getting dunked on sometimes.
Ren Tanaka off the backboard. It's knocked out of bounds, and it'll go over to Kalani.
Ren Tanaka doesn't get a lot of minutes for the Raiders, or he hasn't yet this preseason. He's a first-year varsity player, but he's given them great minutes thus far today.
Chung driving hard to the basket. That's off the mark. Here come the Raiders, leading it by 4. Long three-pointer by Yuji Naka. So Uchi lays it up and in. Raiders by a bucket. Kamana, strong move, pass inside, ball on the ground. Tied up between Tanaka and Dawson. Will be alternating possession. We'll stay down here with Iolani. Shibuya back into the game for the Falcons. Yamada backs out. 10 on the shot clock. Tanaka will drive the middle. Nice bounce pass to Dawson. And he'll kick it off the window for 2.
Beautiful attack and find by Ren Tanaka. Short shot clock, attacked it nicely and found Dawson easy under the basket for 2 points.
If I were Ren Tanaka's uncle, I'd be very proud of that play. Or first cousin once removed. Or
You should be.
yeah. Is Kouchi being watched closely by Yamada. That's Lee. Into the corner to Shibuya. Shibuya nails his 3-point attempt. Tanaka is fouled. Be a ball out of bounds. 15 foul on the Falcons. 3 seconds to go. What do you draw up here, Coach? 3 seconds before halftime.
You're really just looking for any type of good shot.
Kilo Scanlon into the game for the first time.
Potentially a screen setter. You're probably looking for Devin Fujinaka, your top shooter, or maybe something right back to Wesley Yamada.
You called it. Off a screen by Scanlon. He's hit, no call. And after the first half of play, we've got a good one here. Iolani Raiders leading the Kalani Falcons 18-17.
Left in the first quarter, and it's more or less been that way throughout the first half. Both teams have seen a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots, and it's really been a struggle offensively on both sides.
Kalani's got it to start the second half. With Jacob Shibuya put a big 3 toward the end of the first half. Kadahele trying to throw it across the lane, but it's going to go off of Kainoli and out of bounds. An early turnover here for Kalani. And the Falcons putting on 3-quarter court pressure against these Iolani guards. They break it. Of course, always important when we have the Iolani Classic. I know you guys touched on it, the shot clock that you won't see during the course of the regular season, but you see here at the Classic. As an open lane to the rim for Andrew Dawson, he'll score off the right side.
Nice feed in there by Wes Yamada, but what you didn't see was Carter Kamana sealing off his man for Andrew Dawson, be able to get all the way to the rim uncontested.
Uchi to the rim, he's hit on his way up. This Kalani team back in Division I, looking to get back to the state tournament for the first time in Division I at least since 1999. The foul on Wesley Yamada. But a program first-year head coach Noah Hussey. And watching them here in this first game of the Iolani Classic, you're getting to see the kind of rise Coach Hussey's trying to get out of his program.
Saw Kouchi there smile a little bit, and that probably was because he was dishing that ball off, but was fortunate enough to get to the free throw line for 2 shots.
That can always be a tough judgment call for officials. At one point when you're in the air, can you determine whether they're trying to pass it by the time you've blown the whistle? As Kouchi goes 1 of 2 from the line, and Iolani turns it over.
That's what Kalani's looking for. They're looking to be disruptive there. Maybe not get outright steals, but force them to speed up a little bit and make an errant pass, which is just what happened.
Lee trying to get by his defender. That fade is good, and we are tied at 20 here in the 3rd quarter.
Not an easy shot there. Little step back, spin, fade away from 18.
Yamada trying to dribble through the pressure, lots of contact. He and Kouchi get together.
Personal foul by the Falcons, number 3, Michael Kouchi, first team foul.
That's the first team foul against Kalani here in the half. Iolani's been tested. You look at the record coming in 3-5 entering the Iolani Classic, but as you've made a point when you've coached this team, you like to get them to at the Big Island. Maybe, if not every year, every other year. They went to Hilo this year for the Cardinal Classic. 3 ball from the left angle, no good for Bailey Bumong-Log, but an offensive board for Iolani. And with the shot clock, by the way, they reset it to 20 on the offensive rebound. Yuji Naka this time, he'll hit. But they get tested. You go to the Big Island, they play in the St. Joseph Cardinal Classic. They win a couple of games, and it's good momentum for this team getting into the Classic.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the preseason, and everyone's really trying to figure out what they got, and especially for these two on both sidelines. These are both first-year head coaches with these programs, so there's a lot more feeling out going on.
Jacob Shibuya hitting that 3 on the other end with the ball loose. Goes back and forth, this time to Iolani. You look inside for Dawson, and we'll have a held ball. Possession arrow's going to keep it with Iolani.
That's the type of game it's been thus far. It's really a lot of scrambling, a lot of turnovers, some lost balls off the foot, but these two teams are going after it. They're working really hard, not giving up a possession.
What a nice block underneath by Brandon Chung, who stayed right in position in the middle of the paint. Kouchi, the baseline drive. He is swatted out of bounds by Carter Kamana, coming over from the weak side.
Carter's second block, we saw that in the first half. Such a dynamic athlete, able to get up and cover so much ground so quickly.
Kilo Scanlon just got in there before the ball could be inbounded as he subs in. You talk about Kamana, such a versatile player, 3 sports, football, an incredible receiver, but did miss some time with an injury. Here's a 3 for the lead. It's good from Jacob Shibuya. He has hit 2 in a row, and Kalani's up by 3. Scanlon holding it, and he throws it away. Shibuya's got the loose ball, and numbers for Kalani. But Iolani does a good job of getting back. And a turnover. But you can see the momentum right now with the Falcons as Shibuya's hit a few from outside the 3-point line.
Shibuya was wandering out there by the 3-point line, wanting to get another opportunity after knocking those 2 down in a row. I'm sure he wanted that little heat check shot coming back around, but Chung wasn't able to find him.
Micah Kouchi's played well. He's going to come out for with Dylan Cortez coming in. How much has this full court or 3-quarter court pressure impacted the game in your view?
I think it's a good ploy. I mean, you never really know what's going to happen. There's been so many turnovers that anytime you force pressure, you force disruption, it could speed someone up. It could make them just a little bit more tired than they're used to be. And we've seen a lot of missed shots. We've seen a lot of mishandled balls. So why not try and do it?
Foul before the shot is on Wakea Kanahele. As the inbound thrown into Scanlon in the left corner. Yamada gets out of there as Kalani's got their 2-3 zone. Good help. Scanlon holds onto it, finds an open man underneath, but a miss. And it will go to Kalani. Tough miss for Tyler Morita underneath.
Nice find by Scanlon to a cutting Morita, but that was a tough shot in there for Morita, who's not very tall, going up against the bigger guys on the inside for Kalani.
Nearing the midway point of the third quarter, we've already got your first game to watch here in the Iolani Classic. The Kalani Falcons holding a 3-point lead. Uchi trying to get space with the shot clock at 8. Shibuya wants another one. That's off the front rim. It'll stay with Kalani.
I'm sure he felt good about that one. Got a nice push on it, even though it was a little deep. Almost knocked it in, but fortunate enough to get the ball back again, Kalani.
Iolani had an extra player on the floor, and Yuji Naka will be the one who comes out. Knocked out of Shibuya's hands. Morita defensively right there. How do you try to slow down the offensive output from the outside, especially from Shibuya? Do you change what you do defensively here in the half court?
I think you just become more aware of who the shooters are. Sometimes if you have multiple shooters, that's a little more difficult, but this team has a couple guys that you need to identify.
Speaking of multiple shooters, Kouchi calls glass. 6-point Kalani lead. Got to hurry to cross midcourt, and Iolani does with 2 seconds to spare. Nice kick out for Chung. Off the right side of the iron. The Raiders will get another chance. Saw Shaden Molina, who had that kick out. On the high post, Morita into the corner. That's no good, but another job by Molina punching it out. That three around and out on Indalesio's attempt.
Those are the looks that you want if you're Iolani. Those are 3 wide open 3-pointers. Nick Chung is one of the best shooters on this team, and Indalesio, despite being a freshman, is a really great shooter himself. So those are 3 good looks, and you got to keep taking those.
Shot clock's at 11. They're looking for spacing. Kouchi for the corner. And the rebound, Chung had it. Yamada in the lane. Contested, and he misses it too strong. And right now, Iolani's got a little cold from the floor. In what has been a low-scoring game to open the Iolani Classic. And we'll get a timeout taken by the Falcons. If you're Noah Hussey, what are you saying right now in this huddle with your team up 6?
I really think this is a rest timeout. They went on a nice run. They gave up a few easy shots to the Iolani Raiders on offense, and they were fortunate. So the Falcons were pretty lucky to not have any of those shots fall when they were on the defensive end, and I think Coach Hussey noted that and said, hey, you know what? Let's give our guys a little bit of rest. We got away with a few down there, so let's take that for what it is and get them rested and get them back playing better defense and hopefully knocking down some shots on the offensive end.
Talking about Iolani a little bit, a lot of these guys you obviously know, but you mentioned some of the youth. Indalesio, the freshman, Bailey Bumanglang, a freshman on this team. There's a really nice mix of veterans' experience in this group. But as you've seen, I mean, you coached, Shaden Molina, who played from his freshman year, that there's a lot of opportunities for the youngsters on this group, the 2 freshmen, for example, to really make a difference.
Yeah, this year, there's a fair amount of returnees from last year's squad. However, the seniors from last year's squad played a lot of minutes. They finished a lot of games. So this Iolani team, early in this preseason, has lost 3 games by buzzer beater. And it's going to take some time for them to learn how to finish games. A lot of them hadn't been in the games that late and had to make those decisions or make shots or execute something. So it is going to take a little bit of time, but better now than in the regular season when it counts.
You think of players like Kavika lead. You know, the heartbeats of this team. Shot clock is down to 3. Nice give and go. And the lay-in for Koji. 8 in a row put up here by the Falcons. And Iolani will keep it off the deflection. You mentioned the tough games that Iolani's played in. 5 losses by a combined 10 points.
Yeah, they've been playing tough. They've been keeping themselves in games against really good teams. Lelehua is a good team. Hilo is a good team. They beat Waiakea, who is among the best teams in the BIF. And they just need to learn how to finish the tight ones. And again, like I think that's going to come.
Yeah. That's one of the beauties of, some people call it the preseason. I like to call it non-league. It doesn't necessarily count in your league, but it does matter when it comes to gaining experience and learning how to win. Yeah, Shibuya with 11 on the shot clock.
For sure, the best teams learn from their losses. They don't dwell on them, they learn from them, they get better, and you know, hopefully at the end of the season they're playing their best basketball when those games really do count.
You find your leaders in experiences like these tournaments, the OIA ILH Challenge, the Cardinal Classic, as we mentioned on the Big Island. You get to find your leaders and your go-to players. And really, you also find the guys that are on the bench that are paying a lot of attention and are being the active cheerleaders, the active role guys. Kouchi cut off by Kalani, who may have been a little too aggressive.
Only a few weeks removed from the football season where he was used to contact.
Yeah. So you can understand when he says, what, really? Did I do something wrong? You can get that.
But really, you take that type of aggression if you're Coach Hirata on this Iolani sideline. That's what you want to see out of this Iolani Raider team.
Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Kalmana's got the size advantage, and he's going to be called for a hold again. There's something to be said for the aggressiveness, to your point, and how that can kind of pick up the energy from your team, seeing the aggression you're playing with.
Iolani has always hung its hat on the defensive end of the floor, and that's how this team is going to be. They're going to win some games 40-39 and maybe even have some games in the 30s. So defense is where it's at for them, and they're going to keep playing aggressive until the end.
Simpliciano finds space, misses the runner, and the shot clock is off here for the Raiders. So Ryan Hirata's group comes up with here, potentially playing for one shot. It looks like they will. Yamada's pass knocked out of the air. 4 seconds. Leaning in, Dawson. The putback from Kamana, are they going to count it? Yes, they will. Carter Kamana beats the horn. And maybe importantly, Coach, pushes momentum for this Iolani team going into the fourth quarter.
Big basket there for the Raiders. That was a hustle play, and those are the ones you love to see. Kalani played great defense. They got the touch, which disrupted the Iolani play. So Iolani had to ad-lib a little bit there. Andrew Dawson went up, and it was all hustle by Carter Kamana to be able to not only grab that rebound, but get it up in tight quarters and finish it before the buzzer. So what could have been a 8-point game is now a 6-point game, and that may only be 2 points, but as you could see, 2 points weren't easy to come by. So that was a big bucket there for the Raiders.
You mentioned looking for leaders and guys you can rely upon. I think there would be no question coming in, Kamana would be one of those guys, and certainly at a very important time, he's showing it. Micah Kouchi, 10 points. He's hit a 3. He's 3 of 7 from the free throw line for Kalani. Jacob Shibuya, all of his points have come from outside the arc. He's hit 3 trays this evening. So is Devin Fujinaka. He's hit 3 from outside the three-point border. He's got 9 points for Iolani as we open the fourth. Iolani brings the double team. We almost had room to let that one go instead. Floater no good from Kouchi. Offensive board though for Brandon Chung. He'll try to take it to the rim. Kamana right there to challenge. Raiders have numbers the other way, but Fujinaka could not hang on to the pass.
That's been the story of a lot of this preseason, where they've gotten opportunities and just going off their hands just a little bit off on a layup. These are the plays, again, like we said, they're gonna come. We just hope they come sooner than later if you're Red Raider head coach Ryan Hirata.
You can see the defense really ratcheted up here. That too is good for Brandon Chung. With Fujinaka challenging right there at the low block, the lead now 8.
By contrast, Kalani's getting the rolls. So those balls that just tip off the Iolani Raider hands are going in for Kalani.
Fujinaka stumbled at the baseline, misses the baseline too, and Chung comes up with the loose ball. One of the beauties of having the shot clock is that no matter what the deficit is, as Iolani has the steal, and what a nice bucket for Fujinaka. The benefit of it is, if you're playing a game without a shot clock, 6 points could be kind of tough in the fourth quarter. But in a game like this, 6 points is rather small for a deficit.
Yeah, the shot clock really does change the game.
Another steal. Iolani's defense, they hang their hat on it, it's coming through.
Defense turns into offense for these Raiders.
High post for Dawson, and they move it around to Morita. Check that, that's Yamada for 3. Don't look now, it's a 3-point game.
2 steals, 5 points.
And Kamana's got another steal. And we'll get a whistle and a foul underneath. That will go against Shibuya. That puts a momentary halt to what was a phenomenal Iolani run here in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, it was sparked by, I think, the end of that quarter. The hustle play by Carter Kamana there to grab that offensive rebound and then to get a bucket. And then they came out and they were able to fly around, knock the ball around, get some tips, get some bounces, and get some easy opportunities, which led to buckets.
It feels like an important possession here, and I think Ryan Hirata is going to treat it that way, taking your timeout with 5:49 remaining, and Iolani down 3, but playing now with momentum on its side here late in this opening matchup. Ryan here, this is a good coaching staff, and obviously you've worked with guys like Brandon Kawazoe, a former head coach at Kaiser, Bryson McCartney, an Iolani graduate. Of course, Ryan Hirata, 03 alum from Iolani School. There are a lot of ties and connections with this coaching staff. As different in a way this coaching staff is with you not at the helm. At the same time, there's a lot of connectivity there with that group.
Yeah, they have a lot of experience, a lot of championship experience. So Brandon Kawazoe was the head coach at Kaiser when they won the Division II state championship with Kainoa Shear there on the bench. Bryson McCartney and Ryan Hirata were my assistants when we won a couple championships. So these guys have been there.
Kamana nearly lost it. That time he gets his pass knocked out by Chung. That timeout almost seemed to kind of fuel Kalani a little bit too, looking at their intensity right out of that timeout on defense.
There was a lot of back and forth in a lot of those possessions, so I think everybody was tired.
What a block by Chung. The big man wants to run, but Kamana is going to challenge him, and he's called for the foul. They're actually going to call that on Devin Fujinaka, although Kamana was right there too. But Brandon Chung, their last game against Nanakuli, 12 points, went 4 of 8 from the foul line in their loss. Kalani 3 and 4 entering this game. Chung's first free throw is good. He is such a good story. A senior, he was featured last year, or actually back in 2018 when Kalani made the state tournament. Was legally deaf, went through an implant surgery in order to be able to hear out of his right ear as he hits that free throw. Permanently lost his hearing at 2 years old, went to the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind.
Amazing.
You can see the impact.
Yeah, amazing story. And he is an incredible athlete. You saw him get the block and get all the way down the court and then knock down those 2 free throws like he was a point guard.
Kalani backing in on him, but nice help defense by Kouchi. That shot's no good. Molina is fouled. 3 opportunities at the rim for Iolani. That one's on Kanahele.
A lot of hustle plays turning into opportunities there for the Raiders. You saw some kickouts, but you saw an offensive rebound by Shaden Molina and getting an opportunity at the free throw line.
You've seen him play since he was a freshman. Characterize his growth now in his junior year.
From the time he was a freshman, he really had a high sports IQ. And I don't just say basketball IQ because you can see it on the football field. He has an incredible sports IQ. He picks things up really quickly. And that's why he was able to give quality minutes on a pretty good team as a freshman and as a sophomore. And now what you'll see a little bit more is him being more vocal. Early on as a freshman, he didn't speak up quite as much, but now you'll see him be a little bit more vocal. But what we want to see out of him from the Iolani side is maybe to get a little more offensive and to be a little more productive under the bucket.
As we talked about him, he got that steal. And here he is, nice extra pass into the corner. Yuji Naka can't hit. Kamana fighting underneath. That's no good as well. There's Brandon Chung with the board. But you can see the opportunities getting a little cleaner for Iolani.
Yeah, they're continuing to work hard, finding ways on the offensive boards. They just got to find a way to knock down these shots.
Cortez cut off. Micah Kouchi now at the shot clock at 11, nearing the midway point of the final quarter in regulation. Kouchi banks that one in too. His last 2 have come off the window.
Maybe on purpose. That was potential Papa shot training. Maybe he was spending some time at Dave & Buster's.
There's a foul going against Kainoa Lee.
15 foul.
Counts for 3 all the same.
It is still work day. Banks are still open.
That's a good point.
So we'll get a timeout called here with 3:51 remaining in the 4th quarter. Not only hitting that shot, but the defender on the opposite side coming over with a late challenge. Sometimes it's in the corner of your eye. It might affect your vision going up for that shot. Not there.
You affect it so much that it goes in. So it's one of those all or nothing. So to your point, the bank was open, and this may be because we have an ATM outside for the first time. First Hawaiian Bank. Brought an ATM here for the people that visit the Iolani Classic.
I love how we were able to work that in, by the way. 3:51 to go in the 4th quarter. Convenience for all when they make it here to the Iolani Classic. If you're Ryan Hirata right now, you don't necessarily feel like you kind of have to settle things in. I realize the score, but you've seen your team improve the way it's played in the 4th quarter. So what's the message here?
The message is settle down. They're working really hard, and when you work really hard, it speeds your clock up because you're hustling, you're going up for offensive rebounds, you're bumping, you're banging, you're flying around on defense. But that's the thing about basketball is you need to work that way, and then as soon as you get the ball, you got to tone it down because you need to concentrate, you need to finesse some of those shots in and make sure those buckets count.
Wasatch Academy and the Tsinghua Dragons coming up as soon as this one is done, but we aren't done. And Andrew Dawson puts one in underneath to get the Raiders within 2 possessions.
Great play out of the timeout by Coach Hirata and the staff. Cut Andrew Dawson there under a cross screen, block to block.
Cortez brings it back out. Kainoa Lee stripped out of his hands. Wesley Yamato is defending, but they'll send Lee to the foul line.
Personal foul
That's one of the great things about the shot clock here is that with 3 minutes and 15 seconds and up 6, if there was no shot clock, Kalani would have the opportunity to run it out a little bit. Maybe not stall for the rest of the game, but they could run out the clock and run longer time, run more time off and shoot some free throws and try and finish it that way. But at this point, you got a series of possessions remaining left in this game, even without excessive pressure and excessive gambling here by the Raiders.
Both good. Winner and loser will get either Mid-Pacific or Oak Hill coming up on Thursday. Kalani trying to ratchet up its pressure defensively. Nice head fake and the floater, too strong from Zachary 10. But Iolani will get a takeaway. That shot no good from Bumanglag. Leading in, contact, it's an offensive foul called on Kouchi. Zach took that one underneath. Stayed stationary. That's an important player control foul to take with 2:35 left.
For undersized bigs, a charge is nearly the same as a block shot. It's as disruptive, it's as effective, and can prevent drives, and in that case, prevented a bucket.
Dawson spins into trouble, held ball. Possession arrow will keep it though with Iolani. But even if the shot clock's still in play, time is of the essence. A 3-possession game with under 2.5 remaining. Quick 3 for Fuji Naka, that's in. It's a 5-point game now, and Iolani will use one of its timeouts. Down to 2 remaining.
Good find there by Nick Chung. Corner kick, pump fake drive was found Iolani's best shooter there. It was deep, but he knocked it in with ease.
That is the 4th 3 for Devin Fujinaka. He's now got 14 points. I believe leading all scorers in that department. Micah Kouchi has 13 for Kalani. We've got a game here with 2:18 remaining. They've certainly kept you busy here at the Iolani Classic. No longer coaching, obviously, but it's almost like nothing's changed with the amount of work you're putting into this Classic.
This is Christmas to me. If I'm not involved with the Iolani Classic, I don't know if Christmas would feel the same. So this is the best basketball that we get to see locally, especially on the high school level. I was fortunate enough to be on Maui this year for the Maui Invitational, which in my estimation is the college version of the Iolani Classic. You have this small gym, it's this small high school gym atmosphere, but with the top teams from around the country competing, and it's electric in here. The voices are loud. There's no bad seats, unless you happen to get stuck outside on a sellout. But this atmosphere is electric, just like it is in Maui, and I think these teams love coming here. Our teams love playing against them. It's a special environment.
Well, if you happen to be outside, they've got the BallerTV stream on a couple of screens while you're eating some of the concession food. Kouchi gets it knocked out of his hands, but it goes out of bounds. Kamana's aggressiveness has been basically it's been infectious here in the 4th quarter.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's going to take some time for him to get in basketball shape and get his skills back, because I'm sure he spent most of that season really focusing on football, where he'll likely play at the next level. But it's good to see him doing what he does, which is be athletic.
And he challenges that. Almost kept in bounds by Fujinaka, but he's called for a traveling violation. Let's see if they reset the shot clock, if they figure that Fujinaka had possession. They're going to say no. So the shot clock's at 13. Lee hard to the goal, scores. We'll check that, that's Brandon Chung. Runner on the other end. That's no good. Kamana brings it quickly out. Quick three, Yuji Naka. Off the mark, couldn't get his fifth. And nearing 90 seconds to play. Iolani not fouling. Instead, trying to continue the defensive pressure. Shibuya won't take it there. And now you get the foul. That will go against Dawson.
Oh, Shibuya really wanted that one. You could see a smile after he kicked it back out. Said, oh, he thought about that hard.
It will be 1-1 for Kainoa Lee. Plays a few sports, also plays volleyball at Kalani. Here's the front end. And right now they're basically telling everybody, nobody from Kalani along each end of the free throw line, they're basically saying do not foul, but still play solid defense. Second free throw short. It's an 8-point game. Dawson, yes! And Iolani will use one of its remaining timeouts.
That was really, really big for the Raiders. They were struggling to score. And really, if they miss on that possession, they wouldn't have enough left, or would have a really, really difficult time trying to recover from this deficit. So that, I believe, was Andrew Dawson's first attempt at a three. So to take it that late in an important time and make it was really big and really fortunate for the Raiders.
Reminder, this one is done. We'll have a short break. The Wasatch Academy out of Mount Pleasant, Utah, yet to lose in 2019-2020. They'll get Tsinghua only the fourth time. Well, we've only had 4 teams out of China who have participated in the Iolani Classic. Tsinghua is one of those 4. That's coming up. Expected tip time at 5 o'clock. Meantime, minute 13, 2-possession game, and you've got the shot clock. Are you keeping the pressure the way it is, or are you looking potentially to foul?
At this point, I think they're looking for something quick in the backcourt. If they can get a turnover here in the backcourt, or maybe get a 10-second call, then they'll take that, obviously. But if they pull it out, then you're looking to foul and try and identify the worst of the foul shooters.
Lee got away from the baseline and finds Kouchi. Kamana nearly has the steal. Ball's on the floor. Timeout, Kalani. Kouchi was able to call that very quickly because he was a moment away from potentially being in a jump ball situation.
A potential jump ball and maybe even a backcourt.
And this is also where you pay attention to the arrow, where right now Kalani does have the arrow in its favor. But you lose that, you have another held ball. Potentially that timeout saves the arrow for Kalani.
That was almost exactly what Coach Ryan Hirata wanted there defensively. They worked hard, forced some speed dribbles, got a trap right over half court, and nearly got that steal or turnover.
And of course, the one who's right in there, Carter Kamana, who's played phenomenal defense here in the fourth quarter.
This is a tough position defensively to try and figure out with the shot clock what you try to do. I think you just come out and be aggressive defensively, and if it ends up to be a steal, great. Otherwise, you get an aggressive foul, I guess. So you try for a hard steal or a good attempt, and it happens to be called as called, and they go to the line.
Shibuya gets it in to Brandon Chung, and they will foul Shibuya with 59.8 on the clock. So one of Kalani's best shooters heading to the free throw line, where it is still 1-1. This will be Shibuya's first attempts this afternoon.
Iolani going offense, defense here with Chung for Kamana. Chung, one of the better shooters, struggled a little bit today, but
big miss. Wesley Yamada pushes it up. Dawson sets the pick. Yamada still can't get free. Now he'll step back and launch. Short. Yamada fighting for the board. And as he tried to throw it out, he got hit on the arm. And it will be 1-1 for Iolani.
Important free throws here for West Yamada to close it to 3 points if possible. And if it does get cut to 3, the 30-second shot clock is still in play. So they wouldn't have to foul necessarily in this scenario, knowing that there's going to be 13 coming back to them with the potential to tie the game.
Kanahele called for the foul. He fouls out. So his afternoon is over. And Dylan Cortez enters. West Yamada, 8 points. First trip to the foul line. Devin Fujinaka leads Iolani with 14. Micah Kouchi, 13 for Kalani. As you said, an opportunity to get it to a one-possession game. There it is. Iolani not showing the pressure just yet. Chung got it across midcourt with 2 seconds to spare. There's a turnover, but it was given right back. Dawson couldn't hang on, and a foul called with 28 and a half left.
Wow, what incredible action there. Iolani did an excellent job, just what they wanted to do on the defensive end. Probably content to try and get the stop and let the shot clock run out, but was fortunate enough to get the steal. But Andrew Dawson just trying to make a play. And we saw that happen over and over today. A lot of tips and drop balls.
Kouchi is 3 of 7 from the free throw line. And that rims out. Shot clock is off. Bumanglag to the rim. Challenged. Foul. A late whistle. That goes against Chung.
Bailey did a nice job of recognizing the opening there. You'd think down 3 with 20 or so seconds, you need a 3. But at that point, you just want a bucket because you still have the opportunity to go foul again and force them to make free throws.
Tough first one missing. One more. That's good for the freshman. Kalani's got to hurry the inbound, and they do, right into the corner, and there's a foul.
Tough call there for Devin Fujinaka. I don't think they were looking to foul just yet. There was enough time on the clock to maybe force a 10-second backcourt violation, but the foul was at least given quickly to create more possessions for both teams, which is what Iolani needs right now.
Kalani now in the double bonus as Shibuya hits the first. I mentioned Bailey, a sophomore, not a freshman, but you could see he's another one of those guys that brings some good talent to the game. That one was good. It's back to a 2-possession game, 19.3 left. And the final timeout used by Iolani. With 17.8 left, is this the point in the threshold where you do look for the 3? Because part of the other story is in high school as compared to college, for example, you make a shot, the clock does not stop.
That's true. At 17.8, there's enough time for it to go through if you get the shot off within maybe 10 seconds. So there won't be a lot, but you hope that Kalani would inbound it a little quicker than they should. But right now, you're just trying to get any possible basket at this point. You're still 2 possessions away at this point. So you want a 2, you want a 3, you just want something to go through the hoop, and then you deal with the rest later. But you do have to get into your action quick enough to still give yourself a chance to foul.
See how delicately Kalani plays this on defense. Bumanglag will go baseline drive. Dawson got it. Kalani does not have to hurry this inbound. But they will use a timeout. With 3.6 remaining, they have called timeout when maybe they didn't have to.
There was a count going, but I'm not sure he knew what that count was. There was the potential for the clock to run out. Fortunate for the Raiders here, but on the same note, if you're Kalani, you don't want to make the mistake there with 3 seconds left and make the bad turnover, give Iolani the ball back with an opportunity just down one to win the game with an attack to the basket. So you can't really fault the Kalani Falcons for being a little bit careful there, making sure that they get a proper inbounds pass and get the opportunity to finish this game, maybe on the free throw line by securing the ball.
Dawson's second three here in the quarter. Iolani has hit 7 trays this afternoon. The other thing worth noting about that timeout, I don't think you can run the baseline now where that opportunity was there. I think because you used the timeout.
You do still get the opportunity to run the baseline. It has to be administered and it has to go in the court for it to be an actual play. So they still have that opportunity.
One of the officials stepping in momentarily. Doesn't look like they'll guard the inbounder. There are no timeouts remaining. There's a 5-second call. And Iolani will have a chance with 3.6 on the clock.
Amazing. Well, if you're Iolani in that scenario, what you want is you want to be really aggressive to not let Kalani touch the ball. And if you get a foul without any time running off the clock, then great. So that's what they did. That's what they did, and there were no openings.
Both teams out of timeouts. The lob for Dawson for the win. Off the mark. And Kalani with the first round win and its third ever win at the Iolani Classic.